Working on it. There we go.
Sweet.
We're live. We'll give people a minute to get in. Give people a minute to get in here. And you're feeling better? You're 100% or close to it?
Close to it. How you feeling?
All right, man. I found out I actually have an abscessed tooth. So
Okay.
yeah, I've been unusually lethargic. Daryl, what's up, man? And that's why I'm a little under the weather. So I'll handle that today. Hey guys, as you get on here and we're talking about all of our sicknesses and illnesses, drop a comment, let us know you're here. If you operate on a retainer model or a retention model of some sort where you have maybe a 90-day thing and then you're trying to push them into an ongoing or a year-long program, if a large portion of your revenue comes from retention and retainers, you're not going to want to miss this because, as you know, Justin shows up when he's not sick and over delivers every time. And there's concepts that I get from the way Justin shares social proof that I can extrapolate out to other things. And so I would implore you to listen, ask questions, and really try to figure out, one, how to implement whatever he's going to show us, and two, what that means in other areas, other domains. Hey, so I'm still giving people some time. I'm rambling here. There we go. As you get on here, tag anybody that you know that wants to listen, because everybody loves you and Michelle, man. You and Michelle are like the most popular people in our circles. So if you love,
because we're Canadian, people just like Canadians. It just happens naturally.
It's true. It's so hard to not like anybody from Canada. And so here's what we do is we've got not a lot of new people in the group. Is we've developed this thing called the velocity method, and it's just a framework for identifying the limit to scale in your company. So while most people are pushing harder on the gas, trying to go faster, we're simply looking for where your foot is still on the brake, right? A lot of people are driving around with the e-brake on. And as we help people, plus his hat is the bomb, is what Jody says. As people,
thanks.
As we teach people how to identify the limit to scale, right? Maybe it's leads, maybe it's conversions, maybe it's fulfillment. Like as we really get granular, identify the limit, our mission is to provide the resources to help you remove that limit, right? We're not experts in everything. We're just really good at finding the problem. And if your problem is a marketing problem, a sales problem, or a retention problem, there's a very, very good chance that doing social proof the right way will help alleviate that issue, right? And Justin, what's the name of your group?
Social Proof Strategies.
So every Wednesday, Justin comes on here and shares just incredible ways to capture stories and use stories to help with your sales, to help with your engagement, to help with your retention and your referrals. And if you want more than just Wednesday, go to the Facebook group Social Proof Strategies. It's super engaged in there. You do that social proof in the wild. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there. So I would implore anybody to go to Social Proof Strategies, the Facebook group. I'll tag it below. And Justin, I'm going to let you roll, man. I got a little bit of a throat thing, so.
Well, try and keep this short and punchy. And yes, we're talking about something. I mean, I did a quick poll in the profit group here, it was like a week or so ago, and just said like, who here has a lot of either retainer based or just monthly based clients, so people that pay you ongoing. And a lot of people rose their hand, which is awesome because that's entirely what this training is about. Doesn't mean it won't apply if you are one-off or if you sell courses or whatever. But this is definitely a strategy for those who are charging on a monthly basis. And the reason is this stems from the fact that I hate monthly recurring bills. I hate them. Like I hate seeing money go out every single month, and my mind immediately wanders to like, am I getting the value for this? It doesn't matter if it's a SaaS, solution, active campaign or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's Netflix. It doesn't matter. It's like, did I get my value worth last month, and am I going to get it the next month? And I don't think I'm alone. Like, I just don't think
Well,
I'm alone in the concept of hating monthly recurring revenue coming out of or leaving my bank account, not necessarily coming to my bank account. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say this is a conversation we had recently with a client who has a program, right? And you $5,000 a month. Somebody comes in and has $100,000 win, right? And so in your mind, that just paid for the whole year. But the math is not always, did I get my 60 grand back? It's like, okay, I got to return this month. And then next month, it's like a start over, right? Like,
Yep.
did I get a return?
Okay.
This
So
month?
that's exactly what we're talking about today. So I'm
Awesome.
gonna share my screen because that is very astute observation there. Let's go.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one then. I'm stoked.
Okay, if you can see my screen, just in the chat, just let me know you can see it.
I can see it on the Zoom. I can't see it on the Facebook yet.
Oh yeah, the old Zoom delay here. Jody, can you see that right now? Oh, there it goes. I think it popped up. Cool. Okay, so we've talked about, as Nick introed this, social proof equals sales. It's kind of a no-brainer. If you can prove that you help people get results, if you can capture compelling client stories and show them in the right places, you get upfront sales. Here's two of the other things that people don't necessarily get right away, is that if you apply those same theories to getting clients with social proof, you actually can use social proof as a retention strategy. And we're going to talk about that today. The other thing is you can use it as a referral strategy. So we are not talking about referrals today, and we're not talking about sales, so converting people. We're talking about you have someone who's already bought into your program, your offer, whatever it is, and using social proof to help them either get more results or at the very least just stick on through those dips in the process, right? Because as you just said, Nick, right? Someone hops on, they pay you $5,000, you land them $100,000 worth of business on month one, and then on month two and month three, they get nothing. That's a valley, right? So how do you keep them there to the next peak? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I've got a little like a Jack Butcher illustration here. Now, this isn't Jack's quality, so I'm just going to take a step back and not say it's on par with Trust Accelerator, which you should definitely check out. But let's just look at the journey of a client, right? So if someone comes onto your consultancy, whatever it is, and they are looking for a result, right? So let's just say the result is get a series of new clients. If you, and this again is assuming you are a monthly based service provider, coach, consultant, whatever it is. Let's say it takes 6 months for them to get that big result, whatever that big result is. Here's what we're gonna look at two different models, which is what Nick illuminated at the very beginning. So model one is, let's say we are just tracking it strictly on a month-by-month basis. So I'm just gonna fly through these pretty quickly. So month one, month two, month three, month four, month five, and month six. So let's say each month is siloed as a specific thing, right? So as you just said in your example, the $100,000 would happen on month one. On month two, that gets forgotten. Now we're in a new month. At the end of month two, month three kicks in, month two gets forgotten. Here's the other way to look at retainer-based clients. Do you see the difference? So instead of it just being a 1 month, right, clock resets at the end of each month, you're looking at it as progression. So month one rolls into month two, rolls into month three, rolls into month four, rolls into month five. So instead of just looking at it as, hey, client just got a $100,000 client on month one, on month two, they got nothing. It's not looking at it like that anymore. It's looking at it like client got a $100,000 client on month one, month two, they didn't get any new clients, but they still have a $100,000 client. And I'm going to show you how this makes sense in a second. Okay, so Nick had that example. I have a more modest example that we're going to run through here because it would be awesome if you did get your clients $100,000 client on month one. Good job. So let's just say for the sake of this example, on month 1, you helped your client get 1 new client. On month 2, they got no new clients. You didn't help your clients get any new clients. On month 3, you helped them get 2 new clients. On month 4, they got 1 new client. On month 5, they got 0 new clients. And month 6, they got 2 new clients. Okay. So again, I'm going to go through that really quickly because it's a subtle difference, but it's monumental in keeping your retainer clients. Month 1, 0, or month 1, 1, month 2, 0, 2, 1, 0, 2, right? Here's the different way of looking at it. Month 1, 1 client. Month 2, 0 clients. But you'll see in the top right, it's still 1 new client. Month 3, 2. Month 4, 1. Month 5, 0. Month 6, 2. So in total, it's 6 new clients over the span of working with them. This is the difference, this sentence. This month, we landed 1 new client. At the beginning of this month, we had 2 new clients on the books, and we just added 1 more. The same thing happened in the month, but one sounds way more appealing than the other. Do you see the subtle distinction? So imagine at the end of the month, you're sitting there with your client and you say, hey, this month we added 1 new client to your roster. It's awesome, right? You could say that, or you could say at the beginning of this month, we had already added 2 new clients. And in this month, we added another. Such a subtle difference, but that's the difference between keeping retainer clients, especially in those valleys when things aren't working so well, traffic's not working, people aren't resonating with the offer, whatever it is. And when they're sinking in those valleys, it's really easy to pull the plug and just, again, what I said at the beginning, I hate monthly bills that are coming out of my account without me seeing a return. And so if I look and say, well, we didn't book any clients this month, why am I paying you all this money? Well, if I just look at the siloed month, that may be true, but if I look at the big picture, that may not be true at all. And so at the end of the day, retainer clients, the biggest thing to keep in mind is progress. You have to be able to show them the progress that they are making. You have to, not just that month, but the totality of your entire working relationship with them. And so this is just that example. I'm just going to pull out the fact that at the end of month 2, we had 0 new clients booked for this person, for example. In this module, in this example where I'm just tracking the single month, but if I'm tracking month 1 and 2, well, we had 1 new client. So it's a subtle difference, but it's a big difference. And so ultimately, this is what it boils down to is retainer clients, they want results, but they're quick to forget what life was like just last month. So in Nic's example, right, this person gets this, $100,000 client for one of their clients. They're quick to remember what life was like without a brand new $100,000 client. Because when month 2 rolls around, they're on this high, right? The pain is gone of not having new clients. The pain is gone of how am I going to make payroll this month for my staff? I have 8 people and their families relying on me, right? That pain is gone because I've just landed this $100,000 contract. Well, come month 2, if I don't have another $100,000 contract, it's really easy to just forget that, right? Because you've kind of fixed that pain for a little bit. But you need to bring them back to that point of, wait a minute, just 2 months ago, this didn't exist, this luxury of whatever this was, $100,000 client. So it's your job in capturing their stories, which we'll talk about in a second, because it's all about social proof, right? To just acknowledge that it's really easy for retainer clients to just forget the pain, to forget the wins, to forget anything that happened last month and just focus on this siloed 30-day window. I'm giving you $5,000. What am I getting for that $5,000 in return? What's up, Jacob? Kevin, if you're here, let us know if you're sticking around. So I got a couple of really quick kind of tips here on how to implement this. Number 1 is in the illustration, right? You have the start and you have the result. It's your job to figure out what the big result is. It's also your job to make sure that you understand what the big result is for your client. So what actually matters to them, getting crystal clear on that. So we have we onboard a new client into when we were doing done for you social proof. even in our social proof accelerator, we have one-on-one calls with pretty much every single one of our students that hop in. And one of the very first questions is like, what does success look like to you? Because if we're operating under a different path, right, we're never going to meet. And what we may be thinking that we're doing something totally in their best interest, but it completely may not resonate because that's not what they're looking for. And so like number one is understanding, right? This is the customer journey, understanding what is that big result. And then the second thing, this is where people kind of go, kind of miss the mark a little bit, is determine the first key milestone, right? Not the big thing. So if the big result is I want to land 10 new clients, well, what's the first key milestone? It may not even be I want to land one client. It could just be I want a pipeline in place, or I want to understand where my leads are coming from, or I want to understand how to track something, some metric that matters, right? So, and you'll see why this is important in a second, but ultimately you want to determine the big picture and then you want the first milestone. And so again, don't assume you know what that is. You must ask. So one question that we ask all of our clients is, what would be the first indicator that we're on the right track to the big result they just shared? So if they want to land 10 clients, what would be the first indicator that we're on the right track to landing 10 new clients for your business? And so what does that do? Is it gives us like that first win. So I'm not looking at this anymore as like a month one type thing, because it may not be possible to get that first indicator month one. Although our recommendation would be try and get that milestone as quickly as possible. So days, weeks at most. But that's your first like milestone where you now have something on the books that you've helped your clients towards that big result, something that is worthwhile and something that they are very excited about. And so the reason is you have to have a starting place to be able to show progress, right? We talked about the concept of progress being vital to retain our clients and keeping them stuck and on board. And so do you have monthly or weekly check-ins? It doesn't matter, but you have to be able to show progress. So if I go back to this little blurb here, at the beginning of this month, we had 2 new clients on the books and we just added 1 more, right? That shows progress. So at the beginning of each meeting, if you have the ability to communicate where they were before this meeting and where they are now, you can show progress, continued progress. And so it's really simple. You can start with, depending on the life cycle of your clients and how long their, the lifespan is for them, whether it's 30, 60, or 90 days ago, I would always recommend, if you're having a weekly or a monthly check-in, it's just showing the progress. So what was life like 60 days ago? What was life like 90 days ago? What was life like 120 days ago? But just reminding them where they were and where they are now, because even if you haven't met that big result, you're still showing progress towards it. And so that's that little bar underneath. And then here's where the social proof really kicks in. And so inside the accelerator, we always talk about the concept of encouraging your clients to verbalize their wins, and particularly as quickly as possible in your client relationship. It's really easy for me to take out my credit card and hand Nick $5,000 and think that was a great decision. And it's just as easy and quick for me to immediately regret that when I see that $5,000 come out of my credit card or my bank account 3 days later and think, oh my God, I just made the terrible decision, right? And so if Nick can get me a win really quickly, then instead of that fear or that pain kicking in of me losing $5,000, what kicks in is the feeling that I initially had when I gave Nick the credit card, which was, this is a good decision. Nick has my best interest. It's confirmation bias. It is what it is. And so for that really to take a hold and take effect, it has to be something that your clients are verbalizing and sharing. So it's one thing for Nick to help me get a win. It's another thing for me to verbalize that win back to Nick, to my spouse, to my business partner, to whatever. Because then all of a sudden my brain kicks in and they just associate, hey, wait a minute. working with Nic is a good decision. I'm going to pay him again. Or working with Nic is a good decision. I'm not going to ask for a refund. Or working with Nic is a good decision. I'm going to put myself in uncomfortable situations to keep making progress. And so inside inside our program, it's all about encouraging your clients to verbalize their wins. We talked the last social proof Wednesday on the concept of building the system that suits your clients and thinking about the medium, right? The concept of Marshall McLuhan's The Medium is the Message. So building a system that your clients are going to, it's part of it, right? However you are capturing your stories and displaying it, it's part of the actual message. So it's not just what's being said, but it's the frame around it, it's the context, all those things add to it. And so you have to build this system based on your business. Like I can't come here and tell you to make sure your clients verbalize their wins on Facebook Messenger, because that may not be right for your business. You got to figure that out. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are encouraging them to verbalize their wins and do it regularly, because that shows progress. Because when they go to message you, think about, I'm in a lull of a month and I'm about to cancel my monthly retainer. I go in my email and I search Nic, and in there are all these messages of me sending Nic all these wins that I'm having. How likely am I to cancel? Not very. I go to open up Facebook Messenger. I go to send Nic a message saying, hey, Nic, I don't think this is working out. If Nic has built that social proof system in Messenger, and all of a sudden I see these communication threads between Nic and I and all these wins, I'm not likely to bail out. And so you're thinking really intelligently, like, how do I get them to encourage, or how do I encourage them to share their wins verbally, written, somewhere that relates to the actual communication method as well, so that they're seeing progress. They're not just seeing that, oh crap, this month sucked, what am I going to do? So if you, going back to here, you've got your client, a big milestone, the first one is checked. That's your first conversation. We call them in our program conversation loop, the concept of like reoccurring conversations where they're verbalizing wins. But that's your first opportunity to get something on record of them getting a result. Again, not the big result, doesn't matter. It's just the first key indicator that they made the right decision in working with you. And this is also the secret of just how you 20 times your social proof, because now you're no longer waiting until the very end, right, to get the result. You're just waiting for the first key indicator, first something milestone, then the next milestone, then the next milestone, and the next milestone, and you've just 20 times your social proof, and you've retained clients. That's all I got for you.
I'll tell you one of the things that stuck with me, and it's one of the first times we had. It might have been when you came for your office day. That concept of not waiting to the end to get social proof for multiple reasons, right? But that's something that we've been working on building in, and I know we actually work with you guys on setting it up. But the idea of getting social proof at every milestone, it makes marketing way easier, sales way easier, because you have social proof from A to B and B to C and C to D, so you can match wherever the prospect is at. But retention too, man. It's like you said, the confirmation bias is it's a thing, and it's just brilliant. The conversation loops that the way you presented to me for the first time and just now, it's another one of those things that it's just brilliant, and I've worked on extrapolating it out to other things as well. So
well, it's more work. So like, we don't shy away from the fact that like it's easier just to wait to the end. But the problem is, on a retainer client specifically, ideally there is no end. Like, there is no opportune time to say like, okay, you're done. If the goal is to help continually build their business, right? So if you're taking them from 0 to 100,000, at the end of 100,000, hopefully you take them to 200,000, 300,000, whatever it is you're helping them achieve. And so the concept of like waiting to the end doesn't really make sense in a retainer, and it's not good for clients that do have a hard end date. Because again, it goes back to like, clients are quick to forget the pain. So the benefit of you being on, or if you're out there and you conduct sales calls, the benefit is then, at least, and you have them recorded, at least you've captured someone in their before state, before working with you, you can always go back to that as kind of like a contrast in capturing their story and where they were and where they are. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you are waiting months and months and months to have these client conversations, client interviews, whatever it is you're doing, someone being able to like bring up the feelings that they felt before working with you, pain, frustration, dreams, like all those things, like it's nearly impossible because they've moved on, right? Life is better. And so the sooner you start capturing their story and telling it, the closer you are to that pain or whatever it is that they need, that's solution, you are before that. And the sooner you can capture that, make sure it's shared and being used to attract other people in that current situation. And so if you're just waiting 8 months or a year to capture client stories, you're just missing out on tons of opportunities to talk directly to people who are stuck right now.
Yeah. And I think you touched on it great. Because Daryl dropped in here, quick to forget the wins if they aren't documented. Like, what have you done for me lately? And that is, we have a lot of clients that operate their programs based on retainers, right? Ad agencies, everything, right? And it's like one of the most common things I hear is from clients about their clients is like, it's like they just completely forgot about last month, or they completely forgot about February. Remember February? Like, and the answer is no, they don't remember February.
Yeah, it's your job. It's not their job to remember. It's your job to remind your clients of the progress you're helping them achieve.
Oh,
I think that's like it's the difference between like being proactive and not. Like, you can just kind of sit back and hope that your clients see the world like you do, and hope that they see the things that you see, but they don't. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. And if you're charging them $5,000 a month, it's like, okay, as Daryl just said, like, what have you done for me for this $5,000? So it's your job. You got to be the one to be tracking these things and making sure it's part of the ongoing conversations. Here are the things that we've done for you. Here's the progress that you've made. Here is the proximity to where the big result. Like, here's how close we've gotten you there so far, and we're still trending in the right direction.
Yeah, it's good. That's already rolling. What's the do you break this down? You have these conversations in the Social Proof Accelerator, show people how to set this up, or give them some ideas on how to do this?
Yeah, so we basically show people how to do the entire system, start to finish. And then a part of it is understanding, like, when to have the conversation loops, when to initiate, how to ask. Once you get like the verbal sign off or the written sign off, whatever, it's like, how do you actually conduct these in a way that's like not sleazy or slimy? And then once you're done with it, what do you do with it? So we have an entire protocol, and we just actually just this week, and we're rolling it over the next 2 weeks or so, is we have like a build your system in 5 days. So a completely new add-on to this, where it's like, if you're busy, you don't have a ton of time, but you recognize that you have amazing client results that are not being shared or not being captured, we've just added an entire new section to the accelerator. It's like, this is how you build your system in 5 days. It's not hard. And once you have that going, it just runs. And your business changes, because you're no longer marketing. You're no longer like speaking about client results in third person. Like, I'm seeing this all the time. Like, we just helped our client do this. And it's like, that's not impactful, because I can make that up. What's impactful is seeing your clients use those words. This person helped me do this, right? And it's a fundamental difference.
What's the do you show them how to, because obviously you guys did it done for me, and I'm just blown away by the Airtable and the way it's organized. Do you show them how to build all that, the Airtable? And
yeah, that's part of the light version that we just put out, and we're adding, is just that part of the 5 days. Like, how do you build the Airtable in a way that's like super simple? Because when we do it for people, we get nuanced, like what we did for you. Like we get in the weeds. We map objections with beliefs. We look at stories and we say, like, does this story snippet break this objection or build this belief? Here's where it goes in your sales page, sales funnel, webinar, whatever it is. That's what we do when we're doing it for people. But we also recognize that, like, hey, if people are looking to build this system into their own business, there's only a finite amount of time. And so we've reduced a portion of that Airtable for our, build your system in 5 days. So it's way more manageable.
Awesome. I'll get new numbers for you, because I just want people to understand, especially people. Daryl is a great example. I see him in here. I tagged everybody that said that they wanted to watch this. I tagged them. They'll catch the replay, I'm sure.
Cool.
Most of them, the reason they have retainer clients, their program's a retainer, and I actually know a lot of them personally, is because they're service providers first, right? They're marketers and salespeople second, or not at all. And I just want to let you guys know I'm similar. I have a thing in the vault. It's retention, referrals, raving fans. Like, keeping people forever is what I want to do. But I can tell you, and I'll get new numbers for you, Justin. We've enrolled 7 this month so far into Velocity, and we kind of, one person said, I'll tell you this. I don't know if I told you this. One person said, I always thought that you guys were probably too big for me, or I was too small for you, because the way we're positioned sometimes with certain people. And he goes, Sarah Tempty's testimonial. He goes, 1, it's the coolest ad I've ever seen, because it was a carousel ad. He goes, I've never seen a carousel ad before, but her story is the one that made me think maybe you guys could help me. And that's one that you guys captured for us, and we actually use it. The way we use it is based on the way you put it in Airtable. So up until then, the last number was, I could tell you 22,000 in directly attributed to Social Proof. It's more now, because that was a $18,000 deal. And so I'll get you new numbers, but guys,
it's stories, man.
Yeah. When people say it's not, and Sarah's story is not, I made $100,000, right? Hers is like, it's way more personal. It's way more about how I was feeling, where I was at, and what I can do now with my free time. And that was just, I kind of expect people not to watch videos, because I don't. But he said it was her story. He quoted it, and he said, that's why I got on the phone, because previously I thought, like, I'd have 10 employees to even consider you. But Sarah's just a copywriter, And so I'm telling you guys, like, if these stories put in the right place generate revenue, both in sales and in just retaining your retainers. And so, Justin, I'll get you new numbers, but the Social Proof Accelerator, what is that? That's last time it was 3 payments of $397 or $1,200. Yep. Or what's the price on that?
Yeah, it's just 3 payments, 3 monthly payments of $397.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, whether you're watching this live, we don't have as many people live as we typically have, but this is a little bit earlier. If you're in the vault, so if you're a vault member or a network member, or you're in Velocity, I could not endorse them any better than I have. Like, they have my strongest endorsement. I've seen it. They do my social proof for me. I will pay your first payment or your last payment, or however it works out, but I'll pay one of those $397s if you're in the vault, because this is just one of those things that nobody's doing right, and it is a massive, massive unfair advantage if you just take the time. So there's that. I don't think we have a link for that, because I just threw it out there, but just message Justin, and I will I'll take care of one of the payments for you if you're in the vault, or if you're a client of mine in any program or anything. And then,
that's awesome. Just shoot me a message, because I don't have a link for that, but just shoot me a message and we'll figure it out.
Awesome. So just let them know, or drop a comment here, because if you're not friends, it might go to the other box or whatever. And go join the group, which I already lost the name of, Social Proof.
Social Proof Strategies.
Social Proof Strategies. That's right. I tried I tried to tag it and it was like, I don't know if I got the right one. It's a closed group, social strategies, testimonials, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Michael's the man. Just dropped in here. So that's the deal. If you're a client of ours in any capacity, Velocity, Michael's a Velocity, Jody, you're in the vault. Daryl, you're in the vault. This is one of the highest quality, highest support things that I've seen. I love this offer. I can't wait until paid traffic works and it scales to the moon. But in the meantime, 3 payments of $397. I'll pay one of them for you. Just message Justin and let him know, and then him and I will sort it out.
Cool.
And this recording will drop. If you have any questions, just drop them. We'll get a ton more viewers by the end of the day today. I just tagged a bunch of people. Rewatch, good stuff in this video. Yeah, great stuff, huge stuff. And just drop a comment if you have any questions. Justin's around, he's active in the group, and I will put this replay. I'll leave it up in the group for a couple days. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make I gotta rebuild the whole vault because now it's just turning into like a bunch of replays of really cool stuff. I'm gonna have a social proof and we'll put them in sequence. I'll have a social proof module, and you can just comb through and watch these as it's appropriate. So if you're a vault member, just keep an eye out. I'm going to rearrange that stuff.
And we'll be back next week. So if you have questions on what we talked about today or the last one, drop them in this video or show up next week, and we'll be back again.
Yeah.
So,
do you have something for next week? Or are you gonna do?
Well, so we did a little survey, right, a couple weeks ago. So I'm just gonna start pulling the topics that people want, and just start systematically just going through each one by one.
Cool.
So
Let's
I don't
do
know
that.
if that is gonna be for next week, but it'll be good.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll do that, and then as we get into it, we'll start in a week or two, maybe 3. I'll put a link in the vault where vault members can start submitting questions, like to get one-on-one help with their particular, what do I put at this place in the funnel? How do I capture this? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And so we'll wait about a week or 2 before I put that up, and then vault members can just do straight up Q&A, audit, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be rad. Very cool.
Cool. You guys are awesome. Drop any comments you have, tag anybody that might benefit, which is anybody that has a business that has repeat customers. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Cool. Ciao. Thanks, everybody.